Amsterdam attack on Israeli fans not anti-Semitic, claims the prosecutor. Oh boy, oh boy. The violent clashes targeting Israeli soccer fans in Amsterdam have sparked intense debate, with Dutch prosecutors controversially claiming the attacks were driven by anger over Israeli actions in Gaza rather than anti Semitism. Evidence presented during trial included those inflammatory messages from a WhatsApp group, such as, quote, YouTube, these are not my statements. We are reporting on the statements of others, such as, quote, we must make those Jews feel what they did to our brothers, in all caps, which many viewed as overtly anti Semitic. However, prosecutors
No.
argued, quote, the violence was influenced by the situation in Gaza, not by anti Semitism, asserting the attackers' motives stemmed from political outrage rather than religious or ethnic hatred. The cases centered on suspects like 22-year-old Sefa O, who was accused of having a leading role in the violence, with video evidence showing him punching and kicking Israeli fans. Despite his actions, Sefa O expressed regret, stating that he wanted to start a new life with his family. Prosecutors highlighted provocative behavior by the Maccabi Tel Aviv fans, who were accused of burning a Palestinian flag and chanting anti Arab slogans before the attack. The incident, which Amsterdam's mayor, Femke Halsema, described as unbearable and deeply damaging, has fueled tensions in the city, sparking debate over the role of political conflict in exacerbating community divisions. So, this was a story that I found out about because of our Atheist Republic community members. And so if you are in the Netherlands and you have more information about this, please let me know, because there isn't a ton available in English, really explaining uh people's reasoning behind this. So this obviously seemed absolutely insane to me. I don't know how you can read some of the statements that were in this group chat and be like, "Oh no, this wasn't anti-Semitic." I mean, there it's clear that tensions are high because of the Hamas Israel war. Sure, but we all watched those videos when they're screaming at people about being Jewish. Like, they're not screaming at people about being Israeli. Am I being stupid? Like,
I mean, let's see if it works the other way around, okay? Because after October 7th, there were, the violence against Jews increased around the world, but violence against Muslims and Arabs increased as well. To be violence against Jews increased by a much higher percentage,
mhm.
but we also had more attacks on Muslims and Arabs, right? So if somebody comes and calls that bigotry, what if me and Susanna came and said, like, no, 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 no. The targeted attacks on Muslims in Europe is not bigotry. It's only the results of what's happening in Gaza and the Middle East. It's
Yeah, that
because of
sounds
the October.
insane.
It was a reaction to the October 7th attack. We had some Muslims attacking Israel. They killed a whole bunch of people. So this is not anti-Muslim bigotry because it's just a reaction to October 7th. I mean, would we
Yeah.
not be called out as
Mhm.
insane people if we said that? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Oh my god. It's it I this is I mean, Armin, what do you even do in this situation where
I
you
mean, all
see
forms of
what
bigotry.
happened in Amsterdam and this is the response of the prosecutors?
I mean,
Politically,
this
culturally, what do you do?
what I do is remind people that this is why we need Zionism. We're talking Amsterdam here. We're talking Western Europe. Remember, people told us that, okay, Israel Jews were targeted one day, but right now the West is safe for Jews. the West is the friend of the Jews, so you don't even need Israel. Jews are not in danger in Europe. Jews are not in danger in North America. They have safe lives there. People are actively hunting down Jews and people in Amsterdam, not in the Middle East, not in Russia and previous Soviet states, okay, not
Well,
in these places. They are in, not just, not just there, but we're talking about in European countries. People are arguing that actively seeking and targeting Jews, hunting them down and attacking them is not anti-Semitic. This is another case, another reminder that nowhere in the world is safe for Jews. This is why you need Zionism. This is why you need Israel. This is why we defend Israel. Okay, another reminder: Zionism validated, Zionism proved correct. Just remind people of that. And I also want to add that when people say, oh, this is not anti Semitism because this is a reaction to the events, as if other forms of bigotry are just come out of the vacuum. All other bigotry is also a reaction to certain other events. It's an unjustifiable and irrational reaction, but it's always rooted in a justification as a reaction to something else that has happened. Just because there was an event that stirred it, that doesn't make it not bigotry. Show me other forms of bigotry that was just formed in a vacuum as a reaction to nothing. That's
that's a
literally
good
every
point.
form of bigotry. Yeah.
I remember when Russia invaded Ukraine, and in San Francisco, I lived in the Little Russia neighborhood, and like some Russian businesses were vandalized because of that Russia's actions. I mean,
Yeah.
granted, let's be completely clear. Like when that happens, it doesn't happen on the level and it's not sustained violence against this group the way that anti-Semitic violence is at this insane level and it's sustained at this level. You know what I mean? It was like some people busted in a shop window like one time versus continual very high rates in many different places da 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 da. Um yeah, yeah, your point is well taken. But I mean, I don't even know what you do with this culturally if this is how your leaders react to this type of behavior. Armin, it's not enough to be like, "Oh, Zionism proven."
Yeah,
Also,
that's my just my
the one
first
thing I don't
reaction.
like about that argument, which I
But that's
understand.
not my only reaction. That's my first thing. Like, I'm not saying that's enough. Obviously, that's not my point that this is what we do. I'm just saying, me as a Zionist, that's the first thing that comes to my mind. Okay.
Sure.
But what else do you suggest? Like, this is not
Well, the one thing I
obviously,
don't
I'm not
like
going to be
about
like, oh,
that
let's
first
go
thing
home.
that
We just, yeah, yeah. Well, you don't like it. Why?
well, because then some people would basically wash their hands of
Oh,
doing everything they can to protect the Jews within their nation. It gives them an out. You see what I mean? They're like, okay, well, Israel's there to protect you. Go to Israel. Instead of taking every step necessary to defend this minority group within their nation.
I yeah.
That's
I don't.
actually a strong argument that people use.
I don't think the person that says, "Well, Jews, get out of here. You have a home already. We don't want you here." I don't think those type of people were waiting for me to say that we need Israel for Jews to be safe. Those people seem so anti-Jewish that they weren't waiting for a green light from me. I think we need to do
Fair
both.
enough.
I think we need to do both. We need to fight anti-Semitism wherever it happens, but at the same time remind people why while this level of anti-Jewish hatred exists around the world, we need to we need to defend. I mean, we always need to defend Israel because we defend every nation state. But we need to defend Israel more aggressively, given that Israel is the only nation state that is constantly being threatened with extinction. unlike any other nation state. So
Hmm.
but this also shows that the Zionist project was correct to begin with, and given how much anti-Jewish hatred is excused by anti-Zionism, I think that's a. I mean, again, this actually helps fight anti-Jewish hatred in other places as well, because Zionism is the excuse that a lot of people use for anti-Jewish hatred. It's the
Sure,
mask that people wear. So
sure.
if you are making arguments for Zionism, you're also removing the mask of the tool that is anti-Zionism for the purpose of anti-Jewish hatred.
And I think it's important for people to realize that the modern justification for anti-Semitism is Zionism, but that's only the
Mhm.
contemporary excuse used to hate Jews. Historically, there's been many other forms and excuses to hate Jews. This is just the modern version because in our modern world, contemporary world, one institution that we value is human rights. And so you demonize the Jews on the basis of accusing them of human rights abuses. Traditionally, it'd be other things like, oh, you guys deny the Messiah, you're Christ killers, basically a blight within Christian society that doesn't accept our ways, rides off the back of our civilization, you know, other stuff like that. And then there's other conspiracies like Elders of Zion and banking and da, 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 da. But I
Blood
think
of children.
one thing I learned that's very helpful is that basically anti-Zionism is just kind of a mirror image of whatever society hates at that time. So if we can predict like what society will hate in 2050, like we'll probably know what Jews will be accused of. That's basically how this works. Like cuz it could be a different accusation, right? A different hatred, but it's just always a mirror image to what we find to be a blight and hatred in society. This is why they're accused of, being pornographers and child killers and all this crazy stuff. Also, YouTube, I would like to emphasize, I'm reflecting the attitudes of other people. These aren't, please, YouTube gods, I'm not saying this.
Pray to YouTube guys. These are not our views. We're describing other people's views. Uh, save us from the curse of YouTube. But yeah,
Yeah,
YouTube has been. I think the prayers have worked. Who said prayer never works? We have been praying
you
to
did.
YouTube gods, and I was wrong. Apparently, there's a certain type of prayers that work. We used to get demonetized like within minutes after we start the show. Every time we started this tradition of praying to YouTube gods and explaining to the gods that these are not our views, these are the views of other people, we're not getting demonetized. So, guys, we as atheists have found an incident of prayer working, which is amazing.
One thing
So
that's
yeah,
very
this
confusing to me is I don't know how you can literally say with a bald face that this had nothing to do with anti-Semitism when one of the people in this group chat that was coordinating these attacks literally, excuse me,
bless you. May
excuse,
the
oh, thank
YouTube
you,
gods bless you.
thank you. Literally had the name in the group chat of Abu Obaida, who's like the very famous Hamas spokesperson. So they literally have like the iconography of a Hamas spokesperson. And then meanwhile, there's messages that are like, "Oh, I'm so disappointed that hardly any Jews were beaten. Oh, let's go on a massive hunt for Jews in the city." Da, 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 da. They weren't like, "Oh, you know what? How about we go attack Arab Israelis?" Oh, you know what? How about we go find if there are any Israeli Druze around here? Like,
Right.
no.
You not only were those attacks anti-Semitic, I think you calling it not anti-Semitic is also anti-Semitic. I think it's I mean you are also being anti-Semitic by saying that this is not by saying that, oh, let's go find these Jews and hunt them down and beat the crap out of them. You calling that not anti-Semitic, you're also being anti-Semitic. Yeah.
It's insane. But I'm also confused because one thing I was reading about is that some of them are potentially in being individually sentenced, some of them are facing like some sort of anti-Semitism charge, which is very confusing. I was reading about this yesterday. I'm trying to find my source on this.
You know, the only people I would agree if this was coming from, I would say like, okay, fine, you're allowed to make that point, is if you were the defense lawyer of the people who did these things, okay?
Oh no, but
Because
this is the
technically,
prosecutor. The prosecutor is now apparently doing the job of the defense.
what the hell? Okay,
It's the
what? Why?
prosecutor. The prosecutor running
What the
defense, carrying water for the defense.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
What? Why? Okay. You know, because if it's a defense lawyer, if people are like, oh, that's like that, you shouldn't. I mean, the defense lawyer is supposed to
That's their
defend.
job.
They should
That's their
try.
job.
It's their job. They're supposed to try anything and everything possible to defend their people. Okay.
Even when a
So
defense
if this
lawyer
was,
feels like they're gaslighting you, that's their job.
yeah, that's their job. Like you just have to try everything possible. But this is not the defense lawyer. What the fuck?
Yeah. It's really weird. It's really
Right.
weird. So people are
Any
saying that there's no
comments?
terrorism involved. I'm trying to find what I I was reading somewhere that this is what's confusing is that some of them are facing within each individual being sentenced. There's at least 6 to 7 of them. By the way, only 6 to 7 out of all the videos we saw of dozens of people running around engaging in this. What the hell's going on? Let's take a moment to acknowledge that. What? Only 7? Only 7? We saw the videos of how large these crowds were. You only got 7? Okay.
Mm.
Um See, okay, so who was saying this? Chief Public Prosecutor said from a legal standpoint there was no terrorism involved. I would agree. But and then
What is his
continued
name? Yeah.
the chief public prosecutor. Well, the one making this statement was Rene de Beuclier. I don't know. The suspect will not
Guys,
face
when
terrorism
something
charges,
that
but in some
yeah, I just want to clarify, people. When you say something is not terrorism, it doesn't mean you're defending it. For something to be terrorism, it has to meet some. It could be horrible. It could be even more disgust. It could even be worse than terrorism, but not terrorism, right? Some things are vile and disgusting, and horrible. Sometimes even worse than some acts of terror, but don't meet the legal definition of terrorism. Just so you know, on this channel, when we say, "Oh, this is not terrorism," it doesn't mean that it was good. It could be very bad. Like so, you could actually there are certain actions that you could kill 100,000 people, and it technically doesn't meet the definition of terrorism, but it's even worse than most acts of terror. So just understand that when we're saying this doesn't meet the definition, it's not that we are making excuses for it. But yeah, go on.
so basically this prosecutor was saying the suspects will not face terrorism charges, but in some cases anti-Semitism has been formally included in the accusations. That's so confusing. So they're like, "Oh, anti-Semitism was not a broad motivator," but then some of them are facing individual accusations of anti-Semitism. It's very inconsistent. This is why if you are Dutch and in the live chat and can provide more context, I'd find that very helpful because we have very limited explanations in
Yeah.
English, which is very frustrating.
Do we have comments that D has highlighted?
Um, yes.
Yeah.
So basically, this person is reacting to people posting the screenshots from the group that was organizing the attacks and just basically like making fun of them and being like, "Oh, you believe this?" Da, 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 da.
Mm. Wait, what was in the leaked WhatsApp chat logs prove Islamist pro-Palestine supporters planned a pogrom against Jews in Amsterdam today, tomorrow after the match at night part two. Okay, and somebody say, ha 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 ha, you think anyone believes this? Okay. I mean, there's a watermelon there. I mean, maybe you should withhold judgment until there's evidence, but you don't know if it's you why it could be true, it could not be true. Like you have to wait. You cannot make a judgment like this. Why wouldn't somebody believe it? It might be true. Like what the hell? You're just biased because of the watermelon in your profile. Okay, what is this one?
This person was reacting Scroll down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically excusing this.
Wow. Look at this. This reasoning will come hunt you down. Say, damn, you should probably stop committing genocide. Seems to offend people. Okay, do you know how many anti-Muslim attacks could be justified using this line of reasoning? That is very dangerous way of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Even if Israel was committing genocide, which is not, but even if it was, that line of reasoning would not. It's not just bad for Jews, it's also really bad for Muslims. No Muslim would be safe with this line of reasoning. Basically, collective punishment. This is collective punishment. And what is this?
Wait, scroll up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So this person is saying, odd, I was distinctly told the Jews brought it upon themselves. Jew hunt rioters plan Amsterdam pogrom in Telegram groups in advance. Okay, scroll down.
Oh yeah, so this guy is pointing at the hypocrisy. Telegram groups used to pre-plan attack in Israel. Yeah, because it must have been an anti-Jewish attack, because right after the attacks, a lot of people said that they brought them upon themselves. So how could this not be a targeting of Jews, where the justification was that they brought it upon themselves? But yeah, okay. So what this guy's saying?
They did, quote, their fans were coached by Mossad operatives who arrived a week earlier to scout locations and plan an incident. The confrontation was scripted on both sides. What the?
What?
I haven't heard this theory before.
Your conspiracy theory is right. Your conspiracy, everyone's conspiracy. I believe in the conspiracy theory of both sides. How about that? I'm not tribalistic with whose conspiracy theory I'm gonna believe in. They're all correct. Okay, sure. All right, well. This is good. I like that. That guy was not discriminating. All right, we have comments. What are you doing? You seem to be busy with preparing.
Oh no, I was getting my next story ready.
Well, what about the super chats and the comments that we start?
Oh, yes. Okay, so I think we already did this one. Yeah, so Kenny gifted 1 Atheist Republic membership, and he gifted 5 more Atheist Republic memberships. Thank you so much, Kenny. That's so kind. Which once again gives me the excuse to tell people to please support Atheist Republic so that we can continue doing our work. You can do that by being a member, or PayPal link in the description. I also, D is so sweet, saying fantastic commentary. Thank you, D. This channel must grow. Don't forget to like this stream. Thank you, D, for doing our advertisements. PC is saying Jews are safest in Israel.
I'm glad that you said safest, because yeah, you're right. I agree with that.
And the liberal gave €6. Thank you, the liberal. Saying the judge, however, admitted it was an anti-Semitic attack while sentencing 6 attackers. This is why I'm confused. Well, I mean, I guess are you Dutch, the liberal? Are you providing more context? Because again, there was a lot that I was trying to look into in English media and I couldn't find a lot of details. If the judge was saying that this was anti-Semitic versus the prosecutors were not, I mean, that's a good thing. At least the judge sees reason. I mean, trust me, it's really not good when the people prosecuting you are not being intellectually honest here. But if the judge who's actually sentencing you is calling it what it is, okay, like it gives me some hope.
The judge is doing the job of the prosecutors for them. Like,
yeah.
What are you guys high? like, oh god, this is weird. Okay.
Like, why are they why are they paying lip service? Why are they paying lip service for this? Is it like, I mean, my brain just immediately goes like, is this just actual cowardice?
Do you know who makes the most amazing, gorgeous, and other adjectives that I can't use here on YouTube, blasphemous art ever? We do! And for some reason, we are giving it away for free. Download them now using the link in the description before we change our mind.